testing LTE networks is the measuring of how Voice over LTE or VoLTE works. Testing VoLTE is currently far more complex than testing other features or services in the LTE networks. We have two sides to the VoLTE service, the implementations in the device and the implementations in the network. In the radio network side, we have the IMS core that has to work with the IMS client on the device. Complexity is brought by the existence of several vendors both on the network and the device side. This brings us to a state where various IMS vendors have their own specific implementation of the IMS client. Qualcomm, Samsung and LG, each of them have their own IMS client in the terminal. With our Nemo product portfolio, we currently support the Qualcomm and Samsung IMS client interfaces. We do support VoLTE testing with all our products, Nemo Handy and Walkie Air, Nemo Outdoor and Nemo Invex. We also support VoLTE in our post-processing tools, Nemo Synergy, Nemo Windcatcher and Nemo Analyze. We have successfully tested our VoLTE measurement products in operator trials in US, Europe and in Asia Pacific. So far we have tested with Samsung, LG and Sony terminals with a number of different vendors. With our Nemo tools, we can perform a number of different measurements. In this example we have a VoLTE call setup that is showing the SIP signaling messages together with the layer 3 messages. VoLTE call setup starts with the invite message, which is also the trigger point for call attempt. When we get the ringing message, that is when the call has gone through the network to the B party and we can write the call connected message. Call setup time in this call was 2.6 seconds. With the call setup information, we can then further calculate statistics like call success rate, call failures and other similar things. SRVCC, Signal Radio Voice Call Continuity, handover is one other important thing to follow and monitor while doing tests, as that could potentially be one of the problem spots in the network. With SRVCC, operators can seamlessly move the call from LTE to UMTS while the call is connected all the time. Here's a video clip from Nemo Outdoor with VoLTE parameters being shown while a VoLTE call is made. You can see different VoLTE related parameters like RTP jitter and packet loss. You can also see the SIP signaling and also the call events. Nemo Outdoor user interface can easily be configured to show all the wanted parameters by using the different workspaces and views. Here you can see few examples of handy views that shows different VoLTE related information, like MOS score and SIP signaling. With testing VoLTE, it is good to understand that each case is different. IMS and VoLTE configurations on devices are complex, with a multitude of parameters that needs to be configured. As long as operators don't have commercial devices but are testing VoLTE with engineering samples, we need to work in close cooperation with the operators to enable successful Voice over LTE measurements. Because the device vendors provide operator-specific devices, we need to have access to these devices. This way we can implement support for that specific model. There are a couple of ways to proceed with the implementation. First of all, customers should first check with us that do we already support that specific terminal model for that operator. Customer should send us the terminal and if possible also the firmware image file that has VoLTE support. We work with the terminal and implement the support to Nemo product. When that's ready, we can arrange for a test on customer premises. The other option is that we actually visit our customer and enable the devices to work with our measurement tools working in their premises. Before the trip can be done, it is good to check that customer has a working phone with VoLTE enabled, a network where to test and also a VoLTE SIM card. Even the VoLTE service is in its early stages of commercialization and testing, and we are working with a technology that has vendor-specific implementations. We have successfully tested VoLTE on multiple different devices and networks. We are able to provide the needed measurement tools as well as post-processing platforms to successfully test Voice over LTE and to help our customers to successfully launch the service and speed up their time to market for their latest network investment. Contact your Nemo Products sales for further information.